we're not fucking prim and proper. Like,
No,
there's no like script to this. It's just
no,
gonna be us bullshitting,
yeah.
and that's what I
With
want.
like some key topics, we kind of just like,
That and then the occasional like video, like here it is. This is
mhm,
what we're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so
like, you are my production. That is
yeah.
what it is. I'm just here.
You're the comedic relief.
I'm just here.
All right, so we're the have we decided fully on the name? The Matt's Cast or Matt
Matt,
Sportscast?
yeah, that's like
Okay.
cold, like
Okay. So
kind of the name we got right now.
the Matt Sportscast. We're
We're
Matt,
focusing on your YouTube channel, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Or I can make up a new one. Who cares really? Uh,
Um,
we've always been both out of our group of friends. We've always kind of been the ones that have been more sport oriented.
we I talk about it on my
Yeah.
podcast, but Aaron doesn't give a shit
Yeah.
about sports.
And
So
like Tom knows, so does Josh, but like I don't think they understand to like the same level and like knowing like the technical side of sports as
I
we
think it
do in
depends
our
on what it is.
like Tom knows UFC really well
In
and
baseball,
baseball.
he knows those really well. Everything else, he really like.
Yeah. It's kind of like eh.
Yeah, there's a topic that we're going to talk about that they were discussing,
Mhm.
and I don't agree with what they said, but I want to bring it up whenever we
Okay.
get to that
Okay.
topic about like how I don't think they're super like intellectual with sports because that makes us sound smarter than what we are.
Yeah.
But and then the show that we're actually friends, you bought me this shirt, so I wanted
Oh.
to wear it on our first episode together.
Damn, that makes me feel bad. I should have worn my shirt, but
It's
I
okay.
usually
It's
wear my
okay.
gym outfit the night before for the next morning, so I could just toss it in
Oh,
my bag. So it's just like it's there.
after this, I'm doing the
Yeah.
gym with Aaron, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna be in this for long.
So first up we got is NFL Week 1 scores and college football Week 2 scores, and potentially even looking over at some highlights. So you actually watched the Bills and Rams game. How was
Yeah.
that? Like I saw, like it actually kind of seemed competitive at first, and then it just kind of tanked.
So here's what I'll say: like our defense, because I'm a Rams fan. You don't, no one really like, this is a new thing. No one really knows me that well. I'm a Rams fan, and I'm not like bandwagon because they just won. I was back when Sam Bradford was the QB. We had Jeff Fisher as the coach in St. Louis. Like I've been there for that long,
Yeah.
and the way I saw the game going, I saw it more of a shootout, kind of back and forth. But the Bills defense came and just they did their thing.
They came to
Um,
play.
it came into play, and I think that was a huge key factor. And the Rams offense could go as the Bills offense, and then I thought this how it was going to be
Mhm.
a shootout, but the Rams just did the same shit, and it was just kind of annoying me. And then Matt Stafford was making really bad throws, and like the defense was making stops, but they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say it was competitive for the Bills. I think the Bills were there the entire time. They went out, they did their thing.
Yeah.
Like, so and I love the Bills. I have a buddy back home in Virginia who's a huge Bill fan, and Josh Allen is the man and
Yeah.
all that.
Uh,
But yeah, that game sucked for me to watch, but I really enjoyed it. I have like a couple Rams players on my fantasy, and I was
yeah.
just like, man, like let them play, please.
Dude, I had Josh Allen, fucking Stephon Diggs. They both. So Diggs gave me 22 some odd points,
Mm,
and Josh Allen brought me in 33 or like 36 or something like that. And then Isaiah McKenzie did a little bit above what he's projected to play, but their tight end, Dawson Knox,
mm.
absolute dog ass. He got 1 point.
I'm pretty sure they have two tight ends for Buffalo, and
Oh,
like
okay.
Dawson Knox is technically, I think he's the number two guy now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure. Um, I have Cooper Kupp. That guy, he's gonna always give me fucking points. So, them and then Cam Akers, they didn't feed him the ball at all. I think he had like 3 rush attempts for
Yeah.
0 yards. So, yeah, that was fucking rough. That was really rough for me.
So the next game up that I have was Steelers to Bengals 23-20 in overtime. And I'm
I
a
watched
Steelers
a little
fan.
bit of that game.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of that game. That game was awesome to watch.
So from looking at the stats, fucking Mitch Trubisky, he's like he did what he needed to.
Your offense did not win you that game, man. That was
No.
entirely the defense.
Yes.
And they shut down Joe Burrow. I mean, what? 5 turnovers on the day, 4 interceptions
turnovers,
alone.
4 interceptions and 1 strip sack.
Yeah. So, and I mean, Mahika Fitzpatrick, I think, did one of the strip sacks and he did one of the interceptions.
And he also, Mika Fitzpatrick also got the block kick at the end because it was
which was huge.
It was like 14 to 20 Steelers in the lead, and like at 0 seconds left on the clock, they scored, and all they needed to do was kick the PAT for the win, and then Mika Fitzpatrick fucking blocked that shit.
That guy is so unreal.
He's a stud.
And that's how I kind of picture your guys' formula to win is not off of Mitch Trubisky, but it's going to be on like the soul of the defense.
I think
you guys can get
steel curtains back from like the James Harrison, Troy Polamalu, fucking what's his name? Fucking his last name was Gay.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but like we had like a long list of dudes that were like, these guys are going to be in the Hall of Fame at some point.
The problem is, TJ Watt is now like he doesn't have the torn pec. I don't know if you saw that, but he's out for a couple weeks.
Oh, he is now?
He is. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. I think it's like 5.
No, they have enough linebackers though. Like their linebacker core is pretty deep.
Yeah, but TJ Watt's a huge part of that. You know what I mean?
He is.
Oh.
But like,
I'm not saying they're going to just start doing bad, but I think without TJ Watt there, it's not going to help.
It's not going to be the same.
Ooh, do you have like just upcoming weeks play? Like
I do, and I was going to be at like the end. From my thinking, but Mitch Trubisky actually did not do too bad. Like 21 for 38. That's
terrible.
That's not bad. He was sacked.
What's the yards and?
He only got 194 yards. Like I think he was doing short passes the majority of the game.
Yeah.
Chase Claypool, nothing impressive. Najee Harris. Oh, these are all rushing. Claypool fucking had 6 carries. Holy shit.
I like.
On like. Yeah. The wing. Fucking.
Yeah.
Nothing really impressive in receptions. Only one dude got 75 yards with his longest being 31.
Is that
Fryer move? Yeah, Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, neither team like really. I think it was like a defensive battle the whole game. Yeah, it really was.
If you get Kenny Pickett ready, I think like if Mitch Trubisky isn't balling out, put Kenny Pickett in there, see what he can do. But you need to give him like, you need him to have like an Antonio Brown. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you want Chase Claypool to thrive, he can't be wide receiver 1. He's got to be a decent. He's got to be number 2. Yeah. He could even be a number 3 guy too.
Yeah. Claypool is not. How do I say it? I don't think he has the leadership to be one.
Also doesn't really have the IQ that we saw last season.
Yeah, he does not ready to be the number 1. He doesn't. He's not fully there on the wide receiver side. But when he's number 2, holy shit, he popped off because nobody was looking at him. I just don't think he's matured enough in the NFL yet.
I agree. Yeah. So I think if you get him like a good number 1 guy, where you'd get him. I have no idea, but
Yeah.
giving just the offense more tools to play with, like Najee Harris is pretty good. He
Yes.
can't carry that. He
That
can't
he
carry that
can't.
whole team.
And well, that is one thing that the Steelers have done, like for a long time, is that they've been an old school grindstone or gridiron fucking football team where they just run the ball down your throat and have a fucking ridiculously good defense.
I don't think that's a bad way to play if you have because if that defense starts to tighten up on the line and
Yeah.
you're not getting any run productions, and then you can play action fake, and then you can get like not Chase Pool, but like anybody who can be
Yeah.
on there far enough and get a good first down, or get out there for more. Because I think a lot of the AFC North
You're
game,
cutting in and out. What you
I'm
just
gonna
said? Yeah.
saying the AFC North is a lot of them are improving their game. They're kind of
Mm-hmm.
switching up to the newer style. They all have newer, younger coaches, except for John Harbaugh, but he has
And same with Mike
Lamar
Tomlin.
Jackson.
He's been in the game. Mike Tomlin is the winningest coach, and I think he's coming up close to NFL history. I think ever since he took over the program, he's might have had only one losing season.
He was the youngest head coach to win a Super Bowl
Yes.
until last year. That got taken over by Sean McVay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh,
but it, like I don't see the Steelers going to another playoff run unless the rest of the AFC North does bad, but I just don't foresee that.
so I think the only real threat in the AFC North is still the Bengals.
I agree that I see the Bengals winning that division. But I feel like the Ravens can at least be that good number two that maybe sneaks into the wild card.
Yeah, and like if the Steelers can't figure out who like their main weapons are, they aren't going to be able to reach that. But if they are able to find it, and like probably by mid-season, then they could maybe scratch in there, kind of slowly. Because that's what happened last season. Like they just finally figured out a rhythm for themselves, and they just edged their way in there. But George Pickens, they picked him up from Georgia's, the Dogs, Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, Kenny Pickett?
No, George Pickens. So there's Kenny Pickett and George Pickens. George Pickens is
I
a
don't know
wide
who-
receiver. He was Georgia's number one until he tore his ACL at the end of his junior year.
Oh,
And he wasn't at the same level, but like when he came back, like he still had the same impact that he had all of his other years.
Mhm.
So that when he was on the field, like it made him a good number one receiver because it just kind of pulled all the defense away from everybody else on the team. And he showed up to, at least in the preseason, and was playing like a professional football player. Like he was giving people the fucking business. Like right off the line.
I usually don't care about preseason, except for when I watch this Hard Knock season with the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Because what this season was about preseason and building up the team and yada yada yada. And man, I fucking I didn't put that on the notes, but do you know who Dan Campbell is, their head coach?
Of the Lions? No.
Yeah,
I don't know who
he's a
Dan
former
Campbell
player. He's a former player. He's now their coach, and what he does is he took other players and I'm pretty sure all their coaching staff, or at least the majority of them, are former players.
Mm-hmm.
Like Anton Randall is their fucking wide receiver coach.
That's actually that's pretty smart. Pretty
Yeah.
high IQ thinking.
Yeah, I mean it's probably it gets them all guys it gets them all jobs, and
Hmm.
I don't know if they would be cheaper than to get like people who are just coaches by
Yeah.
trade. But we'll see how they do. I don't think they're gonna win their division. I just want them to at least do positive, and
Yeah. That
it's like a step in the right direction is what I want from them.
so they're a couple scores away from the list that I have. So the Saints and
Yes, I.
Falcons, 27-26. The Saints came out
It
on
was like
top.
a last minute field goal, I believe.
Yeah, and the
Did you see that
Falcons are still
set?
doing their normal thing of
Yes.
blowing it in the fourth quarter.
Did you see that they went for like a 60 something yard field goal by Young
What?
Ho Koo or whatever? They went for like a way too big field goal. And I was like, why are you doing this? Why are you wasting like that resource on that?
So their longest kick was a 51-yard field goal
Is that what was made or attempted?
made.
Do they have anything about attempt kicks?
The what?
Do they have any like attempted kick stats or?
So he made 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I think that it was that third one that he missed. It was like a really
Like
fucking long one.
ridiculously long.
It was like 67 yards or something like that.
Wouldn't that be the new record if he made it?
It would be because I'm pretty sure I don't know. Let me look it up. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay. I'll just keep on talking then.
Keep talking. I'm gonna
So-
look this up.
You sent me this video on TikTok, but the Saints have all 5 of the or is it all 6? All 6 of the fucking bird teams in their
The bird
schedule.
gauntlet.
Yeah, the bird gauntlet. So they've gotten the first stone of the bird gauntlet. And so I'm honestly kind of cheering for that because no team has beaten all. Is it 6 or 5? I think it's 5.
Cardinals, Ravens, Falcons,
Seahawks.
or Seahawks. I said Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, I think it's 4.
One, two, three, 4, 5. So Falcons, Eagles, Ravens, Cardinals, and Seahawks. So 5. But
And
no
this one?
team has beaten all 5. All 5 of the bird teams.
Right.
And so I thought that was actually kind of important. So if you're going to root for somebody and you don't really care about football, root for the Saints to beat all 5 of the bird teams.
Because it's one of those weird historical little facts that's
Yeah.
like, oh,
It's like, never knew that one. The Bears beat the 49ers 19-10.
I didn't see that one coming.
I did not either. Bears have, ever since Brian Urlacher left the Bears, they have not been the same team that they used to be. At least from me growing up. And I was honestly expecting the 49ers to win, and was still thinking the 49ers were semi-elite. And they came out and just shit the bed the whole game. And Justin Fields...
That's one of those things. I was surprised the teams like, in the NFC West. I was surprised by the teams that lost, and I'm surprised by the team that won. You know what I mean? We'll get to that when we get to it. But when I saw that they lost, I was like, huh. Didn't think that would happen. But
Yeah.
like, good for the Bears. No, I think they're going to be kind of that underdog team,
I think so too.
especially with Justin Fields.
I think everybody is still going to write him off this season. But I feel like they might have the ability to either make it to a wild card spot or just be just short of a wild card.
I would see them contending for a wild card, maybe like an outside looking in type of team. But I couldn't imagine them actually winning a wild card spot yet. I think we're in the season where I want to wait 5 or 6 um until week 5 or 6 to see what teams are made of. You know what I mean?
And like, so that's weird that this season. So like, I don't think any
Okay.
team is fully okay.
This is the kid we were talking about earlier. He attempted a 63-yard kick at the end of the game that got blocked.
Send it to me, and I'll
Okay.
pop it right on the screen.
Then after that play was over, number 23 of New Orleans had a dead ball personal foul. That 15-yard penalty is going to be added to the end of the play.
So here's the kick.
Wait, back it up because I think that the play that they were just talking about affects what happens.
Okay.
Back it up just a little bit. Like, let's see what this penalty's on. This is the play before.
This should be the play. Marcus Mariota is the.
Yes. Yep.
I don't mind that.
No, I don't hate it, and I mean, whenever he's in Tennessee, he didn't look terrible. You know, these play calls are really bad right now.
Now a flag is thrown. The previous play ended with 2 seconds on the game clock, and Atlanta called their final timeout. Then after that play was over, number 23 of New Orleans had a dead ball personal foul. That 15-yard penalty is going to be added to.
What did he have a personal foul for? Do they don't show it?
He just kind of shoved a dude.
Oh.
63 yards, and they blocked
Yeah,
him.
but it would have been a lot closer if they didn't have that 15-yard personal penalty. But I mean, it was on. Wait. Actually, wait a minute. That was on
the Falcons.
It was on the Saints.
Yeah, the penalty was on the Saints. It was going to be a lot longer.
Yes. Okay. So it brought it in. So that I guess that was the way to end it. But I mean, I don't know. It's week 1. Are you going out there trying to pick a 63-yard, or do you give the ball in your hand of your QB and you just try to go for a Hail Mary? I feel like there's a couple different instances in this week where they had that, but most of the people went for the kick.
And that's what I was going to go on to talk about, is that I think that the majority of the teams right now, it seems like pretty much every team is in their building phase still, except for the Bills, the Rams. I want to say the Ravens, but they're also still not kind of there yet.
Well, something that you notice in preseason is offensive starters get lots and lots less like emphasis to save them from injuries. So I feel like when they come in those first 3 weeks, there's a little bit of just kind of rust because they just haven't been playing for a while.
Yeah. All right, so the Eagles and Lions.
If I remember right, that's another kind of close.
Yeah, it was 38-35.
I don't know. I want the Lions to win so bad. I think you can't, if you're an Eagles fan, you can't go like, yeah, we undefeated right now, baby. We beat the Lions. You know what I mean?
But like you're saying, like
that division is trash, but you can't be like you barely won against the Lions.
So they got fucking what's his face, Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
Yep.
And I actually just picked up this running back, Miles Sanders.
He's good. He's really good.
Yeah.
The Eagles tend to win more when they give him more carries.
Yeah.
Which the Eagles don't give him enough carries, in my opinion.
They give him 13 this game.
How many yards?
96.
8 touchdowns?
1. Jalen Hurts has 17 carries for 90 yards.
If you're a young quarterback, you can't be running that much.
No.
I'm pretty sure he got injured last year. a couple games because he was running a whole line. He got like an ankle injury. Sure.
He also got a wide receiver with 155 yards of receiving with 10 receptions.
Who's that? Not
AJ
Nelson
Brown.
Aguilar.
AJ.
Oh, he's from the Eagles.
Yeah.
Maybe Hollywood.
Yeah.
Which I think is something that they definitely needed because, I mean, they'd have the chiseled on the Nelson occasional hand Aguilar.
Yeah.
So Hollywood Brown, he was a stud for them.
Yeah.
In Baltimore.
Dolphins 20-7 over the Patriots.
Well, Mac Jones got injured, but he wasn't looking good.
No, and from what I was seeing, Mac Jones fucking did not have an offensive line. No.
Which is pretty uncharacteristic for the Patriots.
Yeah. But then again, my prediction for this season is going to be pretty much of a fluke season because only 3 teams are really built, and the rest are all still building. There have been so many trades, so many people that retired last year, and
I get that, but I feel like most guys, if you're a professional football player, are going to learn pretty quickly. I think there are some teams that are building. I don't know. I would call them a fluke, where it's like if they make it to the playoffs, that they won't go for like the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
There are teams that I won this week that I don't think are going to the playoffs.
Agreed. Completely agree. The Jets, from the highlights that I watched, it seemed like the Jets had some life. It's just the Ravens kind of suffocated them. It was 24-9.
Did you see who their QB was?
Was it Zach Wilson?
Oh, it's Joe Flacco.
Oh, okay. That's why their fucking team sucked.
Yeah, but I say if it was Zach, because I think Zach Wilson, is he injured right now? Can you see do you have the IR report on?
I think he's injured. The
MILF too many moms.
Yeah. Pulled a groin muscle, something in his hip flexor.
Yeah, I know. He's giving Young Gravy a run for his money about the amount of fucking pussy he's slaying.
The Washington Commanders. So this actually kind of falls into one of my categories that I want to talk about. Carson Wentz comeback year.
Ooh.
With the Washington Commanders. Yes, it was the Jaguars, but he was playing like a goddamn madman this year.
What are the stats for that he had?
So 27 for 41, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Why 1 to 8 sacks? I don't know. But QBR rating was 46.2. Which is not high, but the amount of yards he threw and the amount of touchdowns, this was definitely a pass-heavy team against a very weak pass defense.
Well, the Commanders running back, he's looking to do, he's the rookie, but did you see a couple weeks ago before, I think, during preseason, there's a guy who was breaking into his car and they shot him.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
That's why they don't have like their running back, or at least a decent one.
Yeah. Because he got fucking got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I know a lot of the Commanders fan bases are looking forward to. What's his name? It's
I don't know, but it was a hot topic during like fantasy week when like all the drafts were coming up. Because like people were picking him and just like, yo, this motherfucker just got shot. Why'd you pick him?
Which I think someone did. It was an auto draft, and I was like, oh, they're not gonna like that decision.
In our league?
I think so.
Okay.
What's his name? I can't remember his fucking name.
Well, while you're finding his name, I'm gonna continue on.
Okay.
So the Browns over the Panthers. Baker Mayfield lost to his own team, his old team.
I think that's poetic justice, if you ask me. I don't think Baker Mayfield's all that. I think he's trash. I think he's overrated trash. And yeah, he's got a personality and he has the Hulu commercials. But the long and the short of it, he had OBJ and Jarvis Landry two of the fucking, like, I would say top 10 wide receivers in that season,
Yeah.
and he could do nothing with them. And I'm pretty sure he had Kareem or Nick Chubb, who's
Yep.
a fucking stud. How do you not win with that fucking team?
I
How do
really
you not
don't
win
know.
with that
I
that
don't know.
offense alone?
And like
Oh.
I feel like Baker Mayfield like thrives when he's the underdog. So whenever he's predicted to be like the winning team, he always fucking chokes. But whenever he's supposed to be the underdog, he fucking rises to the game, and like that just motivates him to be better.
Oh, you tripped me up. I looked up the Carolina Panthers, not the Washington Commanders.
So this is actually kind of funny. The Colts and the Texans ended in a tie.
I was so fucking shocked to see that one too. Like, where the fuck was Derrick Henry? Like, read his stats.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty bad, which I was super surprised to see.
Yeah, it's Wait, Derrick Henry plays for the who?
The
No.
Titans, excuse me.
Oh no, it was Texans and Colts.
Oh, okay, excuse me. Wrong fucking. I'm thinking of Jonathan Taylor. Still elite,
Yeah,
or still an elite running back.
yeah.
But read his stats for me because I don't think he had any. I don't think he had a good.
Jared Taylor, 31 carries for 116 yards, 1 TD. His longest was only 17 though.
I mean, he's still doing his job of
Yeah.
getting first down, a touchdown.
Yeah.
What was the other? Because you got Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan was
Um,
32 for 50, 352 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. His interception was
He's
kind of
doing-
whack though, because it was just off of a lucky tip, and like it was a screen pass, and he went to go throw it, and
Mhm.
like the one of the linemen that like stays back to block, the defensive end fucking just like randomly stuck up his arm and tipped it up,
Yeah.
and it just flopped up in the air, and then he caught it. Like it was the flukiest interception you could have ever gotten, but it was still an interception.
I would say 32 for 50 though is still a ton of passes that he's doing.
Yeah, it's still
Like-
a ton of misses, but 352
Well,
yards is nothing to really like shy away from though.
Like I get you don't want to burn out your running back, but 32 passes, it seems 50 passes alone for
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, like he's like I don't think you can rely most of your offensive production on Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
And because you have Pittman on the team who's pretty good. Who
So,
else is on?
oh, this is actually big. Matt Ryan had 4 fumbles, 1 lost, 2 recovered by himself.
Is that all at the line? Oh, that's all him, you said.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's probably how most of the
Yeah.
if he's fumbling back there. And I mean the Texans, I don't think the Texans have a super strong defense that you need to worry about.
No.
I mean, who their QBs? Who Davis Mills? Like,
Yeah.
how did that offense produce anything? I mean,
So,
Brandon Cooks is there, and I love Brandon Cooks.
other
but
than the interception and the fumbles, I think that's the only thing that kept the Texans in the game. Because they had 352
Especially
yards
losing good field
in passing
position.
and
How many?
352 yards of passing and 161 yards of rushing. No.
Is that 300 yards passing?
Yeah.
That's a ton.
Yeah.
Isn't that way more? That's way more than fucking Matt Ryan.
That's all Matt Ryan was 352 yards of passing.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Texans. I'm sorry.
No. Matt Ryan was 352 yards, and
Okay, that
the
makes
rushing was 177 yards of rushing for the Colts.
Mm.
And the Texans only got 222 yards of passing and 77 yards of rushing.
I'm assuming they benefited a lot of those
From
fumbles
Yeah, the
and
fumbles.
those turnovers.
But that means the Indianapolis Colts defense like definitely carried the team at least into the tie.
I didn't watch the game nor did I check the highlights, so I won't speak on that. But I'll say that you shouldn't be having Matt Ryan throw for that much when you got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield.
Yeah.
Even the 32 carries is still pretty good. for only like your longest being 17 yards. I mean,
Yeah. So the Giants with fucking Daniel Jones somehow beat the Titans 21-20.
that is the game I was like, how the fuck did that happen? Like,
Ryan Tannehill had 266 yards of passing, and Daniel Jones had 188 yards.
I'm gonna mute my mic because Nathan's coming downstairs and he's gonna want to talk about
Okay.
this game.
But they had Daniel Jones had 2 touchdowns with 1 interception. Ryan Tannehill 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Derrick Henry did not produce like he normally does, but 21 carries for 82 yards, his longest being 18. Saquon Barkley carried this fucking team. 18 carries for 164 yards, 1 TD.
Oh, believe me, I knew that Saquon was fucking cooking because I had Nate Slizik had Saquon on his team.
Yeah.
And I think alone he had 30 points.
Yeah.
In which, like, you were talking to me, and I was like, here's the thing, I was gonna talk about the fantasy afterwards, but you got me on it now. If Nate Slizik put people on the bench into the game like I told him to, because I told him, I was like, hey, your team's not
Fully
set
complete.
up. You need to. And like, granted, I left points on the bench. Like that shit happens.
Yeah.
But Nate had people who could have been on his roster, and he probably would have beat me. If I'm being honest, he probably could have got the win.
Viking over the Packers, 23-7.
Apparently, Aaron Rodgers was trying to cook, but all of his receivers were just dropping passes left and right. So
they brought in another quarterback. Fucking
Lance? I'm not Trey Lance.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, 22 for 34, 195 yards. No touchdowns, 1 interception. They did not get a passing touchdown. The only touchdown they had was off a run.
I'll say, though, with Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers usually has a bad game. He usually comes back with a fucking fury.
Yeah.
He fucking usually cooks.
And, like, everybody on it, like, every sports thing that I've been seeing has been, like, just flaming Aaron Rodgers for being too old, but I doubt it.
I don't think it has anything to do with his age. I mean, he was literally last season's MVP.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go from MVP and then how long's the break? Like,
it's the rest of the team.
5. Yeah, no, it's, and if you look at those passes, they're good passes. They just drop it.
Yeah. Chiefs absolutely blew out the Cardinals, 44-21.
That's the only team this week that I thought actually had a really good offensive showing.
Yeah. Was
the Chiefs. Which, I'm not a huge fan of the Chiefs. I usually kind of dog on them.
I don't really like Patty Mahomes, even though he's so good.
I think that he's an average QB with, like,
flair,
excellent tools around him.
Mm-hmm.
I think those tools around him makes him look like a great QB. But I feel like you put him anywhere else, he's like a Zach Taylor or a Zach Wilson or Lawrence. He's just a meh QB.
Justin Herbert fucking popped off, 26 for 34, 279 yards, all TDs, no interceptions. Derek Carr doing Derek Carr things, 2 touchdowns for 3 interceptions, but he had 295 yards of passing.
The Chargers defense is so unreal, especially their line now. You got
Joey
Khalil
Bosa
Mack and Joey Bosa. Like,
yeah,
that's a ball you got to get out quick. You can't sit in the pocket with those two coming at you.
And I feel like Derek Carr, if he's on a better team, which I doubt he'll ever move, could be a lot better of a quarterback. Like, if you see some of the reads he makes, it's actually phenomenal reads. But it's just,
I think they're building around him, though. They got Devontae Adams from Green Bay, who they used to be playing together. And then, who is that tight end? The stud, too. What's his name? Oh, Darren Waller. He's really good. Hunter Renfrow didn't have that good of a game.
Yeah.
But I think as they play more, he'll get better, and I think that offense will light up. Because then they also have Jacobs is their running back.
I think so too. I would check, but I just clicked out of it. The Bucks, 19-3 over the Cowboys. that also kind of brings me into another one of my topics was Dallas Cowboys are the only team not to score a touchdown in week 1.
I thrive. I live my best life when the Cowboys are losing.
Dude, the
I don't like the
Cowboys,
Cowboys.
the Cowboy
Don't
fanboys
like.
suck
I
terribly.
hate it. I hate their fan base with a fucking passion.
Oh yeah.
I think that Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott are both overrated. I think Zeke more so than excuse me, Dak, because
Yeah.
Dak, I haven't seen him in a season where he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
He's hurt again. He's out for a couple weeks because he fucking broke his hand. He needs surgery on it. Like, and the thing is, people are trying to say that the lineman is a dirty player for going for the hand, and no. You play football. They teach you to disrupt the ball.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't get to the quarterback, and especially with the rules that they have about touching quarterbacks after the throw, like, if you can't get to him, at least get to the ball, disrupt like the pass. If you hit his hand, you hit his hand. Like, shit happens. It's not like he was intentionally like, I'm gonna break this fucker's hand.
Yeah, that's the Cowboys fan base is terrible, and the Cowboys themselves are just terrible.
I don't get where the fucking nickname America's team came from, but
It was from like the 80s when like
they just fucking dick ride till today.
yeah, I know. Seahawks barely beat the Broncos 17-10.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that game.
Geno Smith fucking came out with he's almost perfect. 23 for 28 yards, 195 yards of passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Good, especially with DK Metcalf not doing good. Like,
oh yeah. Fucking Russell Wilson, 29 of 42 for 340 yards with 1 touchdown.
this is the topic I want to talk about, where towards the end of the game, they either could kick like a 67-yard field goal, or you let Russell Wilson, who has a super good deep arm. I mean, he got Jerry Jeudy was 67 yards in that game. Why not let your QB, the QB that you spent like $4 million on, or whatever the fuck, go out and try to make that play? Like, I don't get it. Like, why settle for that field goal where it's going to be the second longest? Like, and Brandon McManus has a leg, and whenever they ice it, you could see it. It had the distance, but it wasn't going to be in that direction. And I think if I saw that as a coach, I'm like, yeah, no, okay, get in there, Russ. Get in there, try to fucking, make that play. Because, I mean, I think if you went out on your shield, I think the Falcons fans would have been, because the Falcons fans were booing Russell Wilson, even though Russell Wilson is the fucking guy that took him to a Super Bowl after fucking how many years? Yeah. Like, how do you boo that guy? And it's not like he fucking, like, I think wanted to stay there if they built the team, but they didn't build the team around him. So he's like, okay, well then, he got traded. So, which you can't fully blame him for.
No, you can't. This brings us into the next section of it was college sports. Man, let me. God damn, they have like so many fucking breakdowns of it.
Oh, I can only speak to one game. Well, I guess I could talk kind of about the game that we watched. But Nebraska was the real game I really paid attention to, which I have a lot to say.
All right, so I think this is the one that's all scores. So we got my team, Iowa State, beating Iowa for the first time in 6 years.
What's that bowl called? The
Cyhawk Trophy.
That's so stupid. Who can
So, like, I honestly, and it's probably just a little bit of bias from me, but I think this is one of the most underrated rivalries in NCAA.
I don't disagree with that. I just think the name of their trophy is stupid.
Yeah, I agree. But I think Iowa State, Iowa, at least in recent years, because both teams have been really good.
Under the radar good, too.
Yeah.
Especially Iowa State.
Yes, Iowa State has always been an underdog for as long as I can remember. Again, just because I'm biased, but like even in basketball, they're the same way. Like everybody always underwrites them. Like, dude, it's Iowa State. Who is this team? And then they come out and
Aren't
fucking
they like
show up.
they're a smaller school?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, what city in Iowa are like?
Ames, Iowa. It's
It's
kind of
not-
like here where I'm
Yeah.
at right now in K-State territory. It's like a smaller fucking country town, but that's just big because of a college.
Right.
So like it's
I mean, if it's not Des Moines or Council Bluffs, I don't think you really care about
yeah.
a city in Iowa.
But like Iowa's offense, their quarterback Petrus, I was watching that game and I think I was streaming it to you guys. He could not throw to save his life. And last season, he had a much better offensive line and wide receiver core, and he was actually making some good throws. But I think because he's being rushed now and he doesn't have the same offensive line, he's not able to produce like he used to.
That game was really hard to watch because I mean it was in the really bad rain.
Yeah, in the fourth quarter only.
Yeah, and we hopped in the fourth quarter. It was really bad. So, but those are I mean plays. Wasn't he wearing no gloves when he was making those throws?
Yeah.
Or
No, he had gloves.
he had gloves on. Okay. But I mean, I think the K-State's defense, or excuse me, Iowa State's defense,
showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their offense was kind of lacking, but they do have a very fresh everybody on offense because like all of them got drafted last year or this year.
That last quarter though, I think could have been very controversial because it's just the calls that were missed, and then the calls that Iowa State received. I think it was like a pass interference one, I believe. I thought it was kind of bullshit. I mean, luckily it didn't come down and hurt Iowa State. But it's one of those things I was watching. I was like, I'm not too sure I agree with that.
So like, again, as an Iowa State fan, for watching them for years, there's always been those calls where it's just like, dude, how do you make this call? Like, it is blatantly obvious that it was not the right call. And like it even gets picked up on ESPN too, like pretty much every other week. Like, how do you make this call? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's just like, as I've been watching them, both basketball, football, even in wrestling, sometimes they get like shitty fucking ref calls on that shit.
You're saying like wrestling. You don't mean WWE, right?
No, like traditional like college.
Okay,
wrestling.
you're talking about college. Okay, cool.
And like you just sit there like, how do you make this
I say,
call?
Matt, that one's fake, buddy. I don't think you wanna
Yeah.
go after the judging. You want to talk about bad judging too? Look at the UFC. The UFC's full of terrible judging.
Alabama barely scratched a win over Texas, 29.
That's the shit that, like, you saw one guy, like, the other guy do the horns down.
Yeah.
I think you're doing that to a fan base, like, cool. I'll say is Alabama is that hardcore team. You're like, okay, they're going to next season. You win by just point.
You're cutting it out, bud.
And out.
Yeah. Check your connection on your mic. Like the wire.
They said we're good. Yes, we're good.
Okay.
Still cutting it out.
No, you're better now.
Okay.
But I was picking it up like fucking doing the horns down bullshit on the field, like.
Especially when they're running towards the locker room. So here's the thing. Texas people are fucking assholes. So I'm assuming as they were leaving the locker room or leaving towards the locker room, they were getting people talking shit to them. But to give them a horns down by you barely beating them, like...
No.
I think Nick Saban... You see that video where he's like, don't fucking do that shit?
Yeah.
And then they, like, ran. I think in practice or, like, he probably fucking went off when the cameras weren't fucking there to the team. Like, you don't fucking do that shit. You barely fucking won. This, that, and the other thing. He probably fucking made examples out of those fucking guys.
Oh, yeah. 100% agree. Nothing new here. Georgia beat a smaller D1 school 33-0.
That happened a lot. Or, excuse me, that didn't happen a lot this week where bigger name schools paid X amount of millions of dollars for this smaller school to come in, and they fucking beat them, which I'm assuming you're gonna have a few for off.
Yeah. Ohio State won their number 3 against Arkansas State, 45-12. Michigan beat Hawaii 56-10. Clemson beat Furman 35-12. Texas A&M lost to Appalachian State 17-14. Texas A&M was number 6 in the country.
That's one of those teams that paid X amount of millions and they lost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which was crazy. I remember when we were watching the Nebraska game. I remember that little came up on the bar where it's like the Sportcast. You kind of see different scores are happening, and I was like, "What? Who did what?"
Yeah, it's fucking wild. Fucking Oklahoma beat Kent State 33-3. Notre Dame lost to Marshall 26-21.
Teams. Another one of those teams that paid I think they also spent a fuck ton of money. So did Nebraska, but we're not there yet.
BYU beat number 9 Baylor 26-20, which BYU I think is an underrated team. Like, on years they're not like highly thought to be a good team, they end up like performing very well. USC beat Stanford 41-28. Oklahoma State 34-17 over Arizona State. Kentucky beat Florida 26-16. Utah beat Southern Utah 73-7. Holy shit.
Someone won their cupcake game.
Michigan State won 52-0. Miami 30-7. Arkansas 44-30. Tennessee 34-27 over Pitt. NC State 55-3 over Charleston Southern. Washington State upset Wisconsin 17-14. Ole Miss.
Say that state again.
Washington State over Wisconsin.
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 Yeah, Wisconsin.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I said.
You put like a Wisconsin. Like you put a T at the end of that.
Okay. Ole Miss 59-3 over Central Arkansas. Wake Forest 45-25 over Vanderbilt. Texas Tech upset Houston 33-30.
This is one of the things about college. There's just so many fucking
There are
teams and like there's people that dedicate college. I feel like if you're a college guy, you watch college and that's it. You don't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, I can watch an NFL game, but you don't really care about it as deeply. You know what I mean?
Minnesota beat Western Illinois 62-10. Duke over Northwestern, the same team Nebraska lost to, 31-23. Penn State 46-10 over Ohio. North Carolina 35-28 over Georgia State. Kansas State beat Missouri. I'm gonna skip teams until I get some good ones. 40-12 over Missouri, and Missouri is supposed to be a good team, and Kansas State is not supposed to be a good team, but they're 2-0.
Are you looking to go watch more of their games since you're kind of in that area?
I'm supposed to be going to a game this Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah, provided by the Army.
There you
go. Air Force beat Colorado 41-10.
Do you care about the Army versus Navy or Army versus Air Force rivalries, or do you not give a fuck?
We're supposed to get like a day off whenever Army beats Navy, and like it's never happened. But like every time, like our leadership will be like, "Yeah, we'll give you guys a day off if Army beats Navy," so that we like feel obligated to like root and watch the game and shit. We never watch the game, but and then we win, and it's just like, so when's our day off? And we're like, not gonna happen.
Never. Great question.
Cincinnati won 63-10.
But another question: if you're in, because those Army and those are West Point and their academies and all their different things. If you get a really good guy, and the NFL's like, I want you to be an NFL player, not this stupid Army officer.
Yeah.
And they opt out and join the NFL, or are they obligated to do
They're obligated to do their time. So Andre Villanueva, he was a West Pointer.
Mm-hmm.
He was enlisted, went to West Point, or was he just college? But like he went for West Point, became an Army Ranger, was in Ranger Battalion for his 4 to 5 years, and then went to go play for the Steelers.
Wow.
So like the dude's fucking, he's a badass motherfucker. I'm sorry the Steelers lost him, but
I think he's playing for Tampa Bay now.
I think so too. Kansas beat West Virginia 55-42. Let me see if there's any other good games that were okay. Here's the one that you care about. 45-42, Georgia Southern over Nebraska.
Oh, thank God Scott Frost is fired. I think you're my witness. I have been saying for a long, long time, I don't think Scott Frost is going to do anything good for Nebraska. I was like, I hope. And people are like, you're a Fairweather fan. You don't know Nebraska football that well. I was like, hey, man, maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I am wrong.
Yeah.
Hopefully Scott Frost is going to bring it back to the glory days, back in the 1990s when they're winning all this. But I was like, who the fuck cares? You know what I mean? And I think as we go along, if we can maybe get a Nebraska player that we both know, and maybe we can talk to him about certain things, that'd be cool. But I mean, he couldn't get the job done, and he had like close games. I mean, he was like 16 games they lost by like off by one touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's insane. And to me, it was either like we would start out great in the first quarter and just eye off, or we were terrible throughout the game, but in the fourth quarter, they're making this immaculate comeback, and they're like, oh, they're going to win. And then they wouldn't.
And then they choke.
Yeah, they would choke it away. Or it's like, well, if we had one more quarter, we could have done it. And it's like, or you could have just played the rest of the 3 quarters that you guys just decided to ignore for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy Scott Frost is gone. I've been saying that for a long time. I didn't think he was needed. Especially the way that they got rid of him, to me, was even more fucking retarded. Can you look up Nebraska's schedule, please?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure next week we're going to go play Oklahoma.
Yep.
Our track record of the teams that we're going to play, we're going to lose to. Like, we've lost to. We're one right now.
So you guys got Oklahoma, then Indiana, the Rutgers, Purdue, Illinois, Minnesota, number 4 Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa.
So I don't really see us winning too many other games, but this is what I'll say. If you're Nebraska, did you see this stat where, because if we would have cut him after October 1st, it would have been less than the money that we cut him now because we breached the contract or whatever. So we lost, I think, 15. But if we waited till October 1st, it only would have been 7.5 million.
Yeah.
And the thing, I was like, if the guy who you're going to cut and the guy who you're going to reinstate both lose to the fucking team next week and the week after, just hold on to them and just save the money. We're going to lose anyway. Like, getting this interim head coach isn't going to fucking win the games for us.
No, they're
like,
not.
Why waste? And I mean, that's they're paying off Bo Pelini for fucking ever. I think we're still paying off Mike Riley. I don't know if we're going to be paying off Scott Frost, but I mean, we paid way more than we needed to get rid of him. So, and I was trying to give him the chance. I was like, you know what? Scott Frost, for the first 4 years, he's stuck with old Mike Riley guys, and he's going to have to try to bring in people that he thinks is good, and then yet all these different people getting in and out of the transfer portal. And we finally had a good QB of Casey Thompson come in, and I'm looking forward to that. the coaching's not there.
Yeah.
The
So
play call's not there. Because in Nebraska, would spend most of their time doing an inside run draw play, and it wouldn't go anywhere. It wouldn't fucking go anywhere. And I'm sitting there like, why are we running the same fucking like they did no attempts to pitch, go outside, fucking just do a straight up inside run. Like they did nothing to break it up. It was just one dimensional.
So I think Nebraska fucked up by going from the Big 12 to the Big 10 because they were a powerhouse team in the Big 12. Like they were a team to be reckoned with, and it was when Bo Pelini was in his prime. The Huskers were winning a lot, and like for me being an Iowa State fan, it kind of sucked. But like, and then when they went to the Big 10, like they had one good season in the Big 10, and then just shit the bed everything after that. Like
I don't know anyone who was excited that we moved to the Big Ten. I feel like everyone that I know was a way stronger Nebraska fan than I, because I was kind of raised into it. Because
yeah.
But I don't hear anyone talking good like, oh yeah, it's awesome being in the Big Ten.
No, they've been a terrible team in the Big 10. They're like a laughing stock of them.
Yeah.
All right. So this kind of segues right into your first topic that you had with Scott Frost being fired. And this kind of hits home to me as well, being an Iowa State fan.
That's the thing. This topic is only rumors, and I mean, Nebraska losing Scott Frost, and they have an interim head coach, and I think we're gonna probably roll the dice, see how he does for the rest of the season. Probably maybe sign him if he does well, if he wins against some of these bigger teams.
Mm-hmm.
Probably go look to get another head coach. But they're looking to get Matt Campbell, who's coaching your team right now.
Yep.
I don't, because everything is rumors. There's nothing kind of circulating. It's your guy, and you said that teams offer him deals all the time. So, what is your perspective, if for this in general?
With Matt Campbell being this is his sixth season with Iowa State, and like everybody's seen how quickly Matt Campbell's turned around Iowa State's offense and defense over the past 5 years. After his first season, they're like, okay, this might just be a fluke. But then after his second season, they're like, okay, this dude actually kind of knows what he's doing. And a couple big teams, I think, I can't remember off the top of my head all the teams that have tried to fucking get Matt Campbell after every season. But there were bigger schools that like had just cut someone. I think LSU was one of those teams. Like they had just cut their coach, the old dude that used to sleep around with fucking sorority chicks.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just remembered something that I need to talk about with this topic.
Okay.
So remember me in the end.
So.
Another candidate who. Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, like bigger teams in Nebraska have tried to get Matt Campbell, but because he has stayed dedicated to Iowa State, it reminds him of his college that he went to, and his football team. Like they were very much the underdog, and nobody really thought much of them. And I think he wants to try and accomplish at least getting into the playoffs, the college playoffs, before leaving Iowa State. But I don't even think he would leave after that, because if he can make Iowa State a good team, kind of like Nick Saban's made Alabama the team they are now, I think he might just end up staying in the long run.
That was my question to you, is why do you think Matt Campbell stays so dedicated to this team? But you also got to think about, like, I don't know about legacy for this, but just about like just building your career in general. You think staying in Iowa State is good to develop your, because he's a young coach, to develop your skills, to elevate you into being a better, like if his dream is to be Iowa State's head coach, then good on him. I feel like that's a team that you're using to kind of grow, and you maybe get into a bigger school, and then if you want to get into the NFL, if he wants to do that, I don't know if he wants to or that.
So he already had the Lions looking at him as well, and he turned that down. That was another one that kind of had me on the edge of my seat. Like, oh shit, an NFL team's trying to pick him up. Like, please don't go. Like, you've made my dreams kind of like.
Yeah.
and he turned that shit down too. So I don't think I think he likes the college environment a lot more, and I think he likes the staff and the people he works with at Iowa State and just the feel of the school. And I think that's another thing that Iowa State gets underrated on because my family's all from that town, and me going in there, like I just see the environment and how people are. Like for younger kids going to college there, it's pretty much your dream. Like they're fucking wild ass parties and shit, and like it's still a pretty good school, and they're actually highly rated in the world of agriculture, which is their major, like their highest major, what they're known for. And for wrestling, they're huge. Like Iowa State has a huge wrestling college. Basketball, they used to be pretty big when they had Fred Hoiberg, but he's now in Nebraska. He went from going in Iowa State, which was his alma mater team that he won the Big 12 championship with in like the early 90s or 80s. No. In the 90s. Because he ended up playing, Fred Hoiberg played with Michael Jordan on the Bulls. Oh. And the Bulls picked up Fred Hoiberg to be their coach, and he just did not have the team. And the GM, from what I understood, the GM just was not recruiting the right people and drafting the same dudes that he should have, listening to Fred Hoiberg's, suggestions. And I think he went back down to college because college there, he actually had more of an opinion and more of a voice on his recruiting, on who he wanted to pick up, compared to being in the pros where he didn't really have the same voice.
At the end of the day, you seem like a really big Matt Campbell fan. Would you be heartbroken if either A, he left, like would you be like fuck it, I'm done with him, fuck him, or would you be like I hope he does well in his next endeavor?
There was a post on, I follow an Iowa State page on Instagram, talking about like the Matt Campbell like being scouted by Nebraska, and I said,
oh, so you saw this shit too?
Yeah, and I went in the comments and I was like, if Matt Campbell ever left, I might delete myself.
Yeah, because you don't like Nebraska.
No, and they already got my boy Fred Hoiberg, the mayor, who took Iowa State to a Big 12 championship, not only as a player but as a coach as well.
Yeah.
So, okay. Like, he's yeah, we lost Fred Hoiberg, but got Matt Campbell the next year, and so like it kind of gave me still some hope for an Iowa State team. It might not have been basketball that I'd
right.
When I was playing tons of basketball, it was kind of more of an inspiration. Like I was watching their film a lot.
Mm. So something that I was gonna bring up too is with the Nebraska coaching situation. We were talking about earlier that Tom and Josh don't really have like the IQ for.
Yeah.
There's a certain former college head coach who went into the NFL, didn't do too hot, and he got fired. He happens to be free, and his name is Urban Meyer. And Josh and Tom both said that if he was the coach, they would stop following the team, and they would hope that they lose more. And I was like, guys, that is a fucking pretty good college coach. Yes. He might not cut it in the NFL, that's a common theme that just happens. There's players that do very well in college and just don't fizzle well in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Why not the guy who, yes, he played a rival school, or he played for your rival, or he coached your rival school in Ohio State. But if he's a good coach, let him come in and be a good coach. Yeah. He might be a scumbag guy. He's a great coach. Let him coach.
I think Urban Meyer might be the right choice for them. He's
so that free Matt Campbell stays.
For Matt Campbell to stay, but also because he's part of a team. Urban Meyer's free. Matt Campbell has received much more in like contracting or like to get him picked up, and he's rejected.
I think it'd be a really weird step. Like it's a step up, but it's a weird step up.
Yeah.
For Matt Campbell, unless like you know why he turned down the Lions? Was it like maybe I'm just not ready for this situation? Maybe the money wasn't there. Maybe he just didn't want to be with that organization.
Loves Iowa State. That's what he said. Like he said in like a press conference, like out to the public, just like, I love this school. It's a great school. Bigger than the one that he went to play college football for and also coach for. He also took their team to like their conference championship and won. And like when Iowa State saw like what he did there, and they're like, hey, you know, you want to try here? And he said, yeah, sure. Like, he saw the team they were and like what they could be, and was just like, yeah, let's do this shit. And sorry. And then he's just been there with Iowa State the whole time, and then turned down multiple teams. Said that he loves the school. Feel like I'm beating a dead horse on that part, but
yeah, no, you're good. Let's move on. I think we kind of talked about that enough.
Yeah.
Like this next topic we got on here, man. Like you're not a huge baseball guy, so I'm just gonna. It's not really much to talk about. It's more or less to bring up. Like huge St. Louis Cardinals fan. That's where if you're looking at my teams, you're like, oh, L.A. Rams, and so family was from St. Louis. There's like baby pictures of me in St. Louis gear. So I've been following the team ever since I was a kid. And then whenever I was growing up, I was like, oh, I need a football team. Who's playing football in St. Louis?
Yeah, the Rams.
It's the Rams. I picked up the Rams, and then I'm a Blues fan by that trade. And
that's like
I didn't pick
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And that's just, for me, it's just easy, and especially when I was a kid, I really didn't give a fuck about football and hockey. I was really more baseball. But anyway, like when me and Tom went on that trip to St. Louis, it was because that was the main thing about these three guys that are on this list is about Wainwright and Yadier are making history about the most combos between like stars between pitcher and catcher, which is amazing, and Albert's back on the team, and he's getting close he passed Alex, fucking Aroyd as the number 4 spot on the all-time home runs list. I would love to see him hit 700. He's 3 away now. Fucking just making history. That shit's just fucking so cool to see. Even if we don't go and win the World Series, like just to have all this shit. And like to go into that game, dude, I fucking was so happy.
Yeah.
I was fucking almost emotional. I almost fucking cried, but it was just fucking too good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You ever have like that with like a sports moment that you're just like, man, this fucking can make a grown man cry?
It was Iowa State basketball. Their 2014 season, they made it to the Big 12 championship. And my dad had missed the last time Iowa State went to it because we're in England and I was being born. And I was a brand new baby.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so he said, like, fuck whatever you're doing Saturday. We're going to this game. It doesn't matter. And we drove down to Kansas City where it was being played at. And we watched Iowa State win their first Big 12 championship in 15 years. And it was, for me, it was huge because I'd never gone to, at least at an age that I can remember, an Iowa State sports game in person. And then watching them fucking suck ass in the first half. And then all of a sudden in the second half of the game, they just like blow up and fucking just beat out Baylor in a blowout. And we had this dude, he was a Texas fan. And he had bought all the games thinking, Texas is going to make it. But because he had the ticket, he still just went to all the games. And he was sitting there like, man, I watched Iowa State enough this season that, like, if they're winning it, like, they come back in the second half, the game's over. And he just got up and left with, like, 10 minutes left in the half. And he's just like, I already know who's going to win.
Dude, if it's a championship game, you paid that fucking ticket price, you better stay for that whole fucking game, dude.
Yeah. I think we didn't talk to him much, but I feel like if he was able to buy the tickets to all the games, he's probably rich enough to be able to just get up and leave when he wanted to.
Yeah, but to me, that's, I don't know. When I bought those tickets to St. Louis were not fucking cheap. So I was like, yeah, I'm staying for this whole fucking game. It could be a blowout, but I'm like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna fucking remedy in it, but I'm gonna remember this feeling. Yeah. But that, and then we've always talked. I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I think whenever you have games that you want to try and go see, I would totally make the trip down to you and try to catch a game with you. Even though at the end of the day, I might go like, man, that shit really fucking sucked. If you're happy and we're having like a good time, we're drinking, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
It'd probably have to be Iowa State versus K-State or KU. If it's a KU game versus Iowa State, that's a huge rivalry in basketball, at least in the Big 12. And I'm definitely going to be at that game if it's anywhere close to me. So just to watch, even if they lose, like, I still don't care. I'd still love to go watch them.
Yeah, then we can just pick fights with anyone in the stadium that wants to,
Yeah, with me and my Iowa State gear fucking about to get
Exactly. Yeah.
Even at K-State, like, I get, like, weird looks. At every single game, I show up in their tailgate wearing Iowa State gear. And everyone's just like, so are you, like, trying to pick a fight, or what's going on here? It's like...
Like, if it happens, fuck. Like...
They're just like, no, I stay true to my team. I grew up an Iowa State fan. I'm here because of the Army. And I have to explain, fiance has to go tailgate and work her job. So I get the drink free.
We need to get her to sponsor this thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty awesome. But we probably have to get a much bigger viewing first.
I agree.
So I think I covered all mine. Actually, no, I have a baseball one. So both the LA Angels, and I don't know what the Cleveland's team is.
Guardians.
Okay, the Cleveland Guardians managers got tossed out on the same pitch. Have you ever heard of that?
I want to see this. I've never heard of that ever, but I want to see this fucking pitch because I've seen the videos of them barking at umpires and then just getting tossed, but I haven't seen the actual clip on like why they're getting tossed. So that's what I'm most interested in.
All right, so this is at first I thought it was a John Boy.
I don't watch any of this stuff. I've seen like clips, but he's pretty cool. I like him.
Yeah, me and Tom both kind of share like John Boy clips to each other. All right, so here.
Shit. Okay, so yeah, they're arguing about a check swing.
Yep.
Which I can't really tell if that was a check, like if he made it across the plate or not.
I don't think so.
And then I think the other team is arguing like, oh, but it hit our guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it hit him.
All right, so there it is in slow motion.
Okay, to me that looks like the bat crossed the plate. Let me see it again.
Yeah, that's a...
I would. Okay, and the other guy is just... The other guy is getting mad because the ball hit him. Is there audio to this? I'm not hearing anything.
I thought I had it turned up.
Oh, he got tossed.
All right, here.
That's better.
He's fucking letting him get the business.
Fuck you. Fuck you. That's what he was saying there.
He wants to throw a warm-up pitch, I think. I'm not Reed Detmers. I'm sorry, Ryan Tepera. I'll tell you what.
Then he gets in his face too.
Now he's got.
Well, so the other team's getting in his face because they won't fucking let him warm up after all that shit. That is the most bizarre shit.
That is crazy.
Thing I've ever fucking seen. Could you imagine being like in the stands and you're just like, what the fuck's going on? The thing that's nice about watching at home is like you can get the commentaries and they're like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. If you're at home, you're like, or you're on the seats, you're like, what
What's going on?
What the fuck's going on?
And then you get like the random ass like white girl that's just there for like the fucking Instagram photos. It's just like, oh my god, they're yelling.
Yeah. Yep.
God, I fucking hate that shit. Do you want to do college football first since we're already here?
Yeah, I can't. I won't be. I won't be super accurate on my picks, but
Okay. Scores. Week 3. All right, so Friday they have Florida State, Louisville versus Florida State.
my family's from Louisville. Excuse me. I have family in Louisville, so I'll go. Louisville wins by 7 points.
Okay. Iowa State's got another cupcake game to play against Ohio. I think they lost last week.
Ohio, who?
It's just an Ohio, like a smaller Ohio team.
Oh,
Yeah, they lost
Then-
against Penn State, 46-10,
god damn. Okay.
and they beat FAU, which is another smaller D1 school, 41-38. I got Iowa State winning this because they just came off a big win against Iowa, and usually when Iowa State's winning, they keep on winning until they meet like an actual good team, and then it's like an actual fight. I still think it's going to be kind of close because Iowa State likes to do this thing where they don't start showing up till the second half. But if they show up in the first half, the game's going to be over. It's going to be Iowa State all the way.
Sounds good to me.
Georgia over with South Carolina. Georgia's number 1 right now. They went from number 2 to number 1.
Let's give me Georgia then. They're number 1.
Yeah, Gamecocks they're a good team. They're a good team in the SEC, but I don't think they have the same strength that they used to in the past to beat Georgia. Nebraska over Oklahoma.
Nebraska loses by like 16.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a blowout.
Are you going more than 16? Over under 16?
I'm going to say it's over 16.
Oh, okay. I'm going 16 or under.
Okay. Army is 0-2 going up against Villanueva.
Army, give it to Villanueva.
Yeah,
They by
that one
like
to Villanueva.
13 or something.
What's another good matchup? Because there's just so many. I'm gonna be at the. Ooh, this is actually could be pretty good. Tulane is at Kansas State, and Tulane's also 2-0 right now. Let's who they beat. They didn't beat anybody good except for UMass, but UMass is kind of iffy.
Give me Tulane to win. I don't know why. Just like I said.
Yeah, give K-State a fucking check, like a check me game, like. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
here's a good matchup: BYU, number 12 BYU to number 25 Oregon. I kind of want Oregon to win on this one.
I will go against you, and I'll say BYU. I don't have a reason why.
Just to go against.
Just a little competition.
Okay. Alabama, number 2 Alabama against UL Monroe. If this is not a blowout,
I'm not even gonna give my answer because I feel like it's pretty simple.
yeah. I think it's probably gonna be Alabama. But if it's not a blowout, I'm gonna start giving up hope on Alabama.
We'll see. You know, I think Alabama has it, but I also don't know much about college, so
Fair enough.
that's what I'll say. Great crash.
And there's just so many teams to look at for college, so I'm just kind of looking and picking.
Yeah, cherry picking.
Trying to see if there's any good matchups that would be interesting. All right, number 13 Miami against number 24 Texas A&M.
Miami as in the U?
Yeah, the U.
And give me the U.
I'm gonna go the U on this one as well. I also just don't want Texas A&M to win. They left the Big 12, and once you do the Big 12 dirty, I have no respect for you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, let's go to the NFL for Week 3.
I can do this shit all day. Give me these. I can fucking off. We got a game going on right now. Chargers are beating Kansas City by 3 points. It's 10-7.
Oh shit. Okay,
Defense
so
is putting in work.
I also just don't like Kansas, so I want to go for the Chargers on this one.
We're on Chargers all the way. I think Chargers are going to pull away towards the end, especially if their defense is just cooking.
Yeah.
And Patty Mahomes can't get anything going.
But right now, the Chargers are on the Kansas City 19. It's 4th and 1. At the Kansas City 18. Correction.
4th and 1, man. If they go for that field goal, I'll be a little salty. Like, try to push that in, man. From 4-down territory.
I think it's safer to, because it is the Chiefs and they have a fairly good defense. I think kick the field goal and trust your defense to get you the ball back, and then charge down the field.
Yeah, that's not a bad call. I mean, especially if this is their first possession from
the end of the half.
Oh, it's not like your defense is tired. So.
Oh shit! 1st and 10 at KC 15.
Called it.
Okay.
Called it. 4-down territory.
We'll come back to that after we get done with this. Patriots to Steelers. I'm gonna go Steelers on this one, just because I'm a little biased.
I think it's easy to if Mac Jones is hurt and they play just so fucking dog ass, and I feel like it's not from the Steelers offense. I think it's entirely off. I feel like the defense is gonna make a turnover, go for points again.
I agree.
No, Mitch Trubisky might fuck around and get a touchdown, or at least Najee Harris,
or Kenny Pickett gets the start.
Or Kenny Pickett. I think they should throw him in there.
I've been preaching Kenny Pickett even throughout the preseason. I know it is the preseason, but I hate fucking Freemason Rudolph. Mitch Trubisky actually didn't disappoint me as much as I thought he would.
Only week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like Kenny Pickett. I watched him in his college days, and the dude only got better after each season. And it seems like with
the fan base wants him bad too.
Yeah, he's a hometown hero. Grew up in Pittsburgh, went to Pittsburgh College, plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's
fairy tale.
Yeah. Jets and the Browns. I almost want the Jets to win in this one. They showed up last week.
Who's the Browns QB right now?
The Browns quarterback.
Not Deshaun Watson.
Roster is, I think it's Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett?
Jacoby Brissett. I think.
Ooh. Give me the Browns. So the Browns are going to probably use the fuck out of Nick Chubb to get this win going. So I would say give me the Browns.
Commanders at the Lions.
Are we going to do any sort of thing against, like, because we're kind of, there's some teams that we agree against and there's some that we're not.
I don't think we should, because that'd be like a lot of like challenges and shit that we'd have to do and like punishments.
It'd be fun, but all right.
It would be fun. I think we should pick like specific weeks.
Either specific weeks, or we could just, out of the games that we selected, like we each get like 3. There's one that we go head to head on, and then there's 2 that we don't go head to head on. And then whoever wins the most out of those 3,
okay,
then hey, do you want to do that or no?
Yeah, I mean, sure, fuck it.
And I'll let you pick your first matchup.
We both agreed on Chargers and Steelers. Let's do. Well, we'll go through some more because I don't really like the Browns and Jets matchup. I'm kind of like I hope, but I don't know if they actually will.
Like you're gonna pick a team that you want like a matchup that you think is gonna win, and I'm going to, unless I think the one that you just said I don't like, and then I'm gonna pick against you,
Okay.
and then that'll be our matchup one, and then the next two, like there's two that we don't pick the same, and then there's like teams, and there's one that we're gonna pick the same teams to play. Make sense?
Then I'll pick my Steelers for mine on like the first one that we don't go head to head on.
Oh, so the ones that you're selecting as your solo that you're thinking the Steelers are gonna. Okay. For mine, I'm gonna pick.
Let's go through them and we'll just call out the picks as we go through.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Commanders over Lions.
I want the Lions to win, but
I kind of want the Lions to win too.
I want the Lions to win. I don't see them winning though. So, with that being said, I'm gonna say the Lions win by 7. It's like a last minute touchdown type of thing.
Okay.
Actually, no. They go up and they need their defense to make a stop, and they do, and that's what wins in the game. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
And I'll make that be one of my picks.
All right.
I'm that confident on that.
The Bucks and the Saints.
That's one of those really close divisional games that it's because Tampa Bay didn't play their greatest football, but neither did the Saints in their first. And I feel like the Saints barely got their win, while I think Tampa Bay kind of caught a break with Dak being injured.
I want to go Tampa Bay. I'm going to trust Brady.
I'm also going Tampa Bay. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was that upset and the Saints won.
All right. New York Giants at home against the Panthers.
You know what? I kind of want to see the Giants keep rolling, and I want them to win.
Same here.
Especially over Baker Mayfield, so I'm going to say the Giants.
I don't like the Panthers, and I kind of want to make that my second selection, my second solo.
Oh, okay.
Colts over the Colts playing in Jacksonville.
I think the Colts need to win this game.
I do too.
Not be far behind. I think they need to win that game. So I would say the Colts.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have Trevor Lawrence, though, right?
Correct.
I'm going to go Jaguars then and make this my head-to-head.
This is the one that we're going head-to-head on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got one more solo left. Dolphins playing in Baltimore.
Dolphins playing in Baltimore?
Yep.
I think this is gonna be the game that we're really gonna see if Tua is legit.
Yeah. I agree on that one.
At least in the early sets of the week, he has other games to prove that. But I think in these first 3 or first 5, I think this is a real good test for Tua. And what's his name? Hill.
Yeah. I forgot his first name, but Hill something.
It's not Jamal Hill. What is his name? Not important. He used to play for the Chiefs. But yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
I'm gonna stick with. I think it's a test for Tua, but I think it's one that he's gonna pass.
I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I'm not the biggest fan of the Ravens, but I think they're gonna come out on top of this one. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I think it's gonna be close on that one.
Okay. Is it offensive production or is it defensive?
I think it's going to be offensive production on that one.
Okay.
Falcons playing in LA against your Rams.
Oh, this is an easy bounce back win for the Rams.
I 100% agree. The Falcons, they ain't it. Even though I like Marcus Mariota, like I wish he was playing better, and I wish a team would actually pick him up and have him have
a legit team.
Yeah, a legit team would pick him up, and I feel like he could produce. The Seahawks against the 49ers.
I don't know because this is one of our divisional games. And, I mean, the 49ers just came off that bizarre loss against the Bears. I know that George Kittle is still hurt. And I think they're still rolling with Trey Lance to be the starting QB.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll say if it was Trey Lance starting, I see it being a loss. If they put Jimmy Garoppolo in, it could be a W. So with that, I'm probably going to guess that the Seahawks and Geno Smith, because I have a running theory on Geno Smith that if it's the pressure is on him and he needs a big win, he usually comes out and performs and he gets that win.
Yeah.
So if DK can have a better game than he did last week, I can maybe see him going 2-0. Which I think is they need that shit.
Okay. Bengals playing in Dallas. I'd go Bengals all the way.
Bengals, that's easy. Yeah. Skip. That's too easy.
Texans against the Broncos. I go Broncos on this one.
Yeah, I hope. Broncos Nation. Let's ride.
Cardinals against the Raiders.
Let's pick the Raiders. So I'm going to go.
I'm going to go Cardinals just because I have similar dudes on my fantasy team.
Like who?
I have James Conner and Zach Ertz.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Which reminds me.
I knew you had James Conner.
I don't know if I have time, but I need to put Zach Ertz in as starter.
You got time? Yeah. Okay. You just can't do. Well, okay. So if someone's already playing the game, then you can't swap it out.
Okay.
But if they're not playing, I think I can't switch out people who have already, because I got two players. I got Edwards-Helaire and Travis Kelce playing right now, both of which are not doing well.
Yeah. The Bears against the Packers. That's a rivalry game.
That's a rivalry game, but I think the Packers are gonna make an example of
the Bears.
Bears. No. Oh, so like I said, it's one of those things that Aaron Rodgers is like, I own you. I own you.
Yeah.
So if his rest of the team comes out, I could imagine that big win that the Bears have. I'm gonna go upset alert and say that the Bears send Tampa Bay to an 0-2 start, which I don't think they've done in a long, long time.
No, I don't think the Packers have gone 0-2 in a long time. But I want to go Packers, the winning team in this rivalry. I feel like the Packers wide receivers are going to show up in this game because this is usually one that they actually give a shit about.
Can't say that's a bad choice.
No. And I think yours is also a good choice. It's a hard pick to choose on this one.
Yeah. 50-50.
Titans playing against the Bills in Buffalo. I'm going Buffalo.
It should be Monday night's game, right?
There's actually two.
I'm going Buffalo. Games. 2 Monday night games?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go Bills.
And then the next game, also on Monday night, is Vikings versus Eagles.
I feel like Kirk Cousins is a slept-on QB. He has his mistakes, and I think he's a little bit more boring.
Yeah.
But I feel like the tenure in Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook those guys are gonna fucking carry the Vikings to another win.
I can agree. But I want to see the Eagles win. I think the Eagles are ready for a comeback year. Yes.
OT.
Little Teetle.
I think is that it for us tonight,
Yeah, that's
right?
it for that. Do you want to talk about the Browns' new logo first, and then we can... Actually, so Chargers scored 17-7, and Kansas is charging down the field, and they're at the 41. LA's 41.
I don't see them getting much further. Maybe they'll get a field goal.
Yeah, it is 3rd and 10.
And if I'm fucking and then Staley, you're rushing.
Yeah.
You're fucking coming after Patrick.
Oh yeah, but you also got to keep a spy out there too, because it is Patty Mahomes and he can run.
I'm trying to wrap up this game so I can go and start watching that.
Oh shit! KC passing touchdown.
Oh what?
41-yard touchdown.
Who?
Patty Mahomes to Jew Watson.
God damn it. Either guys on my fantasy. What the fuck?
All right. Well, we'll call it for this week. And extra points good, so 17-14.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This should be coming out. Well, you guys should be watching it on Friday. And we're recording currently at 9:05 Central Time on Thursday the 15th. So we'll just be a day late, and you'll probably know who wins this game. But yeah, catch you next week.